Ready? Good afternoon. Today is Friday, April 10th. You are in the Senate Finance Committee. We are in a hearing. We're going to hear two bills. And we're going to start with Senate Bill 1002, presented by our Prince George's County Senator, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages. Senator?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Senator Alonzo Washington here to present on Senate Bill 1002, the Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Class A, E, and R bill. I do have Marcus Jackson here from the County Executive's Office, as this is an administrative bill, if you will, from the County Executive, and it's on behalf of her that we're proposing this piece of legislation. This bill would create an equity retail beer, wine, and liquor license in Prince George's County, authorizing the Board of License Commissioners for Prince George's County to issue the license to an applicant that is certified as a equity retail licensee. We did in amendments that should be before you that we redefined what the equity retail licensee would be, and pretty much it's about someone that lives in Prince George's County, grew up in a zip code, kind of similar to how we do cannabis. We modeled it after the cannabis equity licenses, and the reason for this is because out of 142 licenses that are Class A beer, wine, and liquor in Prince George's County, not one of them are owned by an African American or Latino at all. They're all owned by other individuals outside of that group. And so we tried to provide some parity within the 142 by adding 10 licenses. These 10 licenses would then be, through a proper process, would be issued to these Class AER equity retail licensees that qualify under the bill as amended by the delegation. And it will be 10, but it won't be 10 all at once. It'll be 10, it'll be 2 1 year, 2 the next year, 2 the next year. And after every year, they would have to report back to the General Assembly of how this is working, if these licensees have been issued, or what's the status, what's the breakground, what's the demographic of the licensee that were issued these licenses. This is and also because as I said many times, not to sound, well, we've said it here many times that we have a proliferation of and high density of these licenses in our county, but this inside the beltway is where you see a majority of these licenses. So this bill requires it so that it's outside of the beltway only. These licenses cannot be inside the beltway at all, to continue to and build on that density of licenses in one area where we have low-income families that live there. So that's the bill in a nutshell. I don't believe I missed anything. There are some requirements. There are some requirements about the business itself, but for those reasons, Madam Chair, we asked for a favorable report on this bill. There is a letter to the delegation to the committee already from the delegation that took a vote favorable on this bill.
Thank you, Senator. You actually answered my question when you talked about outside the Beltway. I was a little worried about that, but because I've heard it so often.
Yes,
so
correct.
That's great.
Yep.
Do we have any questions on this bill on Senate Bill 1002? Senator Kramer.
Thank you. So, Senator, let me ask you a question. How do you, I don't know whether Montgomery County tracks demographics of the owners of stores. Is that a requirement in Prince George's so that you actually know the demographic of the store owners as to what, indicating that they are not owned by African Americans? Where's that come from?
Just ready for you to finish the question. Go ahead.
Thank you. For the record, Marcus Jackson, Office of the County Executive. Actually, our Board of License Commissioners do keep data information on the types of individuals that own liquor store, Class A liquor stores in particular. So
And Class A is? Place,
Yeah, the liquor stores that are owned, that are just liquor stores that sell beer, wine, and liquor.
beer,
So-
wine, and liquor?
Yes,
Okay, that's Class A.
yes.
Okay. And they actually keep track of the demographics of who the owners are?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Do you all keep track of applicants? I'm just curious about all of this because, I mean, what is the track record of African-American applicants? And do you keep track of those
Well,
that are rejected for some reason?
first of all-
In other words, how do you?
Yeah. Our licenses, we've not had licenses opened up for about 40 some odd years, 42 years, I believe it
Oh.
is. So this is another reason why we are interested in not necessarily increasing applications in vulnerable areas. And that's why we went outside the Beltway area, because we know that that was a concern in our community.
So you've had no new beer and wine stores in 40 years?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Despite all that growth in Prince George's?
It's 142, Senator,
Right.
that exists right now.
I don't know whether that's a lot.
That's
or-
a lot. That's a lot.
Okay.
142 is a lot. You know, I know in other areas, in 142 is a lot. It's a lot of liquor stores. These are Class A beer and wine stores. And the part of the reason why there isn't like, hey, we have another license and everyone applies, or if a license is up for something, they can transfer a license to anyone they want as long as they qualify under the state statute of being a qualified licensee. There's no open call for that license for anyone to apply for it.
So in other words, there's a limit on the number of licenses.
Correct.
Period. It's like you hit a cap.
There is a
And
cap.
now the only way, for instance, some of the booming areas in Prince George's, I'll drive through and I'm like, it's just all this new construction going on. But if somebody wants to go into one of those shopping centers and open up a beer and wine store, they actually have to buy somebody else's license.
Correct.
They don't go in and
Correct.
apply to get it. Okay,
Correct,
wow.
yeah.
And also, if I can say, you know, we are a county that is, like Montgomery County, near 1 million people.
You're what?
I think we're near 1 million people in the
Right.
county. We're like
Right.
960,000 residents in the county, and you know, we're a growing county, obviously. And 1983 or 84, whenever this license, you know, stopped being issued, we were far less in terms of our general population. So.
Okay, so you hit your cap, it's never been, so this will create new licenses above the cap, is that it?
Correct, yeah. Increase it from 142 to a different class of a license, which is a new class of a license of Class AER, which is Class A equity retail license. And it'll be only 10 of them. And we had to, you know, it's very difficult for us to make the current 142 more diverse than what it is right now.
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
because they
thank you.
transfer within.
Right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Senator Mounts?
So I think this is for the sponsor. So for equity licenses, there's equity licenses for cannabis, but are there any other equity-specific licenses that, I'm not aware, is it just cannabis or are there other equity licenses?
Well, the reason, I mean, part of we modeled the amendments after the cannabis equity license law because it passed without saying black-owned, minority-owned. We just couldn't do that because that's unconstitutional according to the Attorney General's office. We got back some Attorney General reflections on the initial bill that said MBE, minority business enterprise, by the county or certain requirements. We couldn't do that, so we then changed it and alter it to fit the equity license similar to that of cannabis. So I'm not sure of any other equity licenses that exist within the state of Maryland, but this is our local county trying to find a way, an innovative approach to ensuring we have more diversity of licensees within the county.
And then is this for beer and wine or off-premise out liquor sales, or what type of license are we talking about?
So we're talking about a Class A beer, wine, and liquor. So they sell off-site, not on-site. For consumption, they're all off-site.
Do you prohibit them from advertising? Just
Yes.
kidding, just kidding.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay. I
Actually,
don't
let me
see-
amend that bill.
Oh,
When I was on Triple E Committee around 6 years ago, then Senator Obie Patterson put a bill for, I think, like 14 additional licenses. I'm not sure if it's in this class, but I don't know if you remember that, sir. And because you were saying that in 40 years there were no new licenses in
Class A.
Class A, so that was probably a different class, was it beer,
Yes,
wine?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, this class that we're talking about is a brand-new class that's been created, but I think what you're referring to in terms of Class A licenses, I think was alarming to us is that, to the senator's point, there were no black or brown people that had the opportunity for ownership opportunities within the county. So we wanted to do these limited amount of licenses just to get people into the business.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, honestly, those are probably restaurant licenses for potentially National Harbor or some other places, because unfortunately, every year when there is a new development, as Senator Kramer was alluding to, if it's a new development, they will have to find a new license for just some restaurants, just even restaurants. You have to come to the legislature to approve new restaurant licenses to sell beer, wine, and alcohol with the on-site.
So that's a different class?
That's a different class.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so, okay.
that's a different class.
Okay, so thank you.
You're
I'm still learning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you, Senator Ellis. Okay, now I don't see any other questions. That ends the hearing on Senate Bill 1002. Now we're going to go to House Bill 1223, Prince George's County delegation.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Senator Alonzo Washington here to present on House Bill 1223, which is a local county delegation bill. It's called the Prince George's County Work Group on Farmers Markets and Street Vending Zones. It establishes the Prince George's County Work Group on Farmers Markets and Street Vending Zones, requiring it strikes the bill and creates a work group to identify and create regulations and safety, health, environmental, or community concerns about farmers markets and street vendors. In parts of our county, we've had a history of street vendors just being on the sides of roads selling anything and everything. And what we want to do is help find them a location and a place where they can be safe and sell their food and items that they want to do, because there's the entrepreneurial spirit within those folks. And so we're trying to figure out what's the best location for them. And so this work group would come up with that strategy or develop that strategy. For these reasons, Madam Chair, I ask for a favorable report on this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Do I have any questions on House Bill 1223? Sounds like a very good bill. Thank you, Senator. That
Thank you.
ends the hearings for today. We're going to need a couple-minute break while our manager sets up our voting session. Thank you.